Section 0.1 Inner insight instead of blind following. Theory chunk 0.1 Inner insight instead of blind following. Part A View in spiritual science, blind following. You only learn through your environment. Today's society, authorities claim that what you learn would be through your environment, mainly from society. You were restricted by information of society. Even morals and social behavior would be determined by your environment, social norms, and your genes. As such, it results logically you couldn't have real own insight, especially towards morals. Your insight would be gained from the outside. They claim that you are a product of your environment and your genes is highly limited and impossible to prove. They claim and speculate that anything beyond the dogma wouldn't exist. As such, they are excluding what they don't clearly know about to deny the limitation of their claims. It is also claimed that anything spiritual wouldn't be scientific. As such, it shouldn't be discussed. Real, own decisions are excluded as well from this dogma of determinism. If a speculation is claimed as truth, it is an attempt for a blatant lie that they cannot prove. They can't have any form of backing towards their claim, which is against your own everyday experience and consciousness too. But even if you exclude spirituality, there is still a way to disprove their claim. I can show and teach rationally with clarity how to use own insight with natural, existing objectivity of morality. See Manual 1. In Manual 1, I will give you a tool to unfold your own insight with rational methods. This is one of the foundations that everyone who seeks for a good earth and a better humanity should have for their daily life and their profession. It is necessary to act more responsible with your own insight, especially as a so-claimed expert in a certain theme. Own insight helps you against deception and being misled, as well as using a moral compass a better way, without the claim that you can seek to be moral in a corrupt society. Beyond this, you will also boost your thinking process and your way to understand everything you encounter, which is fundamental for life and learning too. With your own insight used the right way, you can go beyond wrong doctrines. You are not limited by your genes nor by teachings of an environment, while you unfold your own insight consciously and rationally. That you are more than the product of your genes and your environment was also described in ancient wisdom. As such, I will introduce own insight with crucial verses of ancient wisdom. For ancient wisdom I use Gospel of Mary, the Bible, King James Version, Quran Karim, and 3 Pitakas. Here I will contrast present spiritual science to ancient wisdom about insight. You can learn through my guidance an insight into ancient wisdom about own insight. In the first manual, I will detach the super knowledge with an ancient knowledge, so it can't be excluded from so-called pseudo-scientific discussions. Part B. View with super knowledge. Insight with your heart and mind. Holy scriptures of world religions hint that all morality is already within your heart, in comparison to the claim of current spiritual science that you learn morals through society and the laws of a state or country. New Testament Romans 2:15 mentions the law written in the heart, God's law are also wrong laws, while their conscience bears witness. Old Testament Hebrew 10:16 describes that God would put his law into hearts and writes them into minds. Quran Karim 13:28 describes the good in the heart. 64:11 describes that God guides someone through their heart. 9:87 describes the heart as needed for apprehending something, and if it is sealed, they do not apprehend as far anymore. 925 describes further that the heart can be diseased, that adds to the wickedness of someone and to unbelief. 643 explains about the heart that it can be hardened, as such people also lie to themselves that what is devilish or wicked would be fair, and so on. The heart is one of the main concepts in the Quran Karim. You can find more about it there. You can actually summarize those mentioned quotes with the Abhidhamma Pitaka, Buddha's scripture, with the word Sita, which can mean mind and heart. Moral or skillful consciousness, Kusala Sita. Immoral or unskillful consciousness, Akusala Sita. Next to insight into morals, Buddha Gautama also spoke about in the Sutta Pitaka, long discourses, Tivija Sutta, the threefold knowledge, that he came from the place of God and can lead you therefore back to the place of God. It is not just a philosophy, but actually a belief in God as well. But it is stated further to let go of superknowledge, except you have your divine eye opened and you can find your superknowledge. This does not include a denial of what you know. Even then it is valid not to be attached to superknowledge. See especially Brahmajala Sutta, the Supreme Net. In the end, Holy Scriptures describe having faith in good that can be found and understood with the heart and mind, from which you can seek guidance from. This training manual is not a preaching manual. Here I only show that there is a huge discrepancy of ancient wisdom and current science. What ancient wisdom underlines, current science denies. This needs to be written and shown. In the next section, I will argue with the perspective of ancient wisdom to contrast ancient wisdom and science. You can still choose to learn from my guidance. Part C. Contrasting ancient wisdom to current spiritual science. If you would say, well, it's science da, it's superior to religion, then I would need to ask you, on what do they base their claim that only environment and genes would have an influence and nothing beyond this? It is baseless. Ancient wisdom underlines, in contrast, that there is something beyond genes and environment, the guidance, consciousness, and law in the heart and mind. At least, this is something everyone experiences according to ancient wisdom within their life. But do they try to deny so they can call what is wicked fair? At least, exactly this is the effect of their doctrine too. Ancient wisdom implies that you decide yourself if you want to follow the guidance of the heart or wrong laws. Spiritual science tries to make you believe that you are already determined through your flesh. This is as claiming that you wouldn't have responsibility for the wrong you do. You were superior through flesh and can even be seen as such to deserve to exploit others, as you stand higher than them. Like white supremacy, racism, exploitation through the survival of the fittest, which is still a huge dogma of Western civilization, even if they cover it up but feel and treat others as inferior as if they themselves were superior, while they follow the lies of the historical, blatant racist philosophers and present covert racist authorities to praise themselves. This kind of dogmatic belief or spiritual science, as it is nothing else than a belief, is described in ancient wisdom as wicked and serves the wickedness of westernized society. This present wickedness is also seen in exploitation on the cost of suffering of billions, problem exportation, like electronic trash or low wages, to ex-colonized countries that are still misused and neo-colonized through luring with charity for privatization of their resources, legal stealing, and forcing them into debt after luring them to help. Racism and superiority claims through genes can be seen as already described as the foolish wisdom of the flesh by the suppressed gospel of Mary the Magdalene approximately 2 millennia ago. This foolish wisdom is one of the causes of wrath and anger according to the Gospel of Mary. You just need to look how racist and privileged white people treat others inferior, but the smallest self-defense will cause their wrath on you if you threaten their position of their superior flesh that they live out on cost of you. But they will call you as the angry one, while your anger may come from racist exploitation and them mistreating you, but their anger comes from within, from their foolish wisdom, and them seeking for the kingdom of flesh. See Gospel of Mary. As someone unprivileged, you can overcome your anger of being misused through overcoming and beating the wrong. See also Gospel of Mary. But white privileged people and sellouts can't overcome the inherent anger that they create through the foolish wisdom of the flesh. This is another difference of ancient wisdom versus misuse present spiritual science. According to ancient wisdom, current spiritual science focuses on foolish wisdom of flesh, excludes inner guidance, and leads to wickedness without a basis. End of section 0.1. For the training section to 0.1, read the manual. Add-on. Inner insight can be looked at in religions with three main aspects. 1. Insight through following the law in your heart, Hebrew religion. Similar in Buddhism by following the Dharma, paths and laws of Buddhist teachings, but in your mind. 2. Insight through a pure heart and doing the will of the Father, Yeshua, New Testament. 3. Insight through submission to God for inner guidance of the heart, Islam, Muhammad. Furthermore, it is possible to gain insight by doing the work as the heart is emptied, like after misusing the treasures of the heart as described in the New Testament, which could also be done by abusing the guidance of the heart as shown by the Quran, which the Quran then describes also as hardening of the heart as a consequence. And being of free expressions of one's better will and doing proper seeking in higher pursuit, as defined by the overlaps I made and defined. Add-on 2. Evolution of the lesser strictness in religion. Hebrew religion. Follow the laws to gain insight by such and learn by understanding of the world. It is important to strictly follow the law, but also to not restrict your good by such. New Testament Yeshua. Instead to rely on the law, rely more on the pure heart, and for that you can lessen the following of the law. And to support this, you can do the will of the Father. Islam. Even if you are not as pure-hearted, you can subdue to God to then gain inner guidance of the heart. But if the heart is emptied by abusing inner guidance, you need to do the work needed to refill the heart for the better to as such gain new inner guidance. Narrow path of light wave. Being your own source of good and better by your own seeking and higher pursuit leads also to insight, even if you are not guided by your heart alone, but by your own seeking and pursuit. Both combined is not excluded. The simplest example, if I seek to do good, then I need to find a way to make this good happen. If I don't seek to do this good, whatever this good may be, I can't even find the path needed. Islam is as such less strict as it gets if taken literally, but afterwards, if misused, way more effort is needed. This includes a stand against the corrupt, which is counted as effort. Instead, many just adapt to the corrupt people with their empty hearts to gain benefits. Islam does not exclude the ways previously, but is of need to create this add-on that I put here, if it is also abused and misused, including the other aspects previously, which was also said in the New Testament as a narrow path and to do the needed will of the Father. Submission to God contradicts the free expression combined by own purity, which is more than the own purity of the heart. This can be also seen in many verses of the Bible, in which God is even challenged by the prophets or others, and as such, new options open up, even if they were to be guided otherwise. This does not mean that such who challenge God in the Bible were actually of purity, but did so because of other reasons, like of compassion for each other.